Welcome to today's 2023 BDG Business Conference. Our theme, Economic Growth in the Age of Modern Day Entrepreneurism. I am Dr. Empress Rose Green. Now in our 8th year of organizing the unique conference, we aim to create a safe space for learning, to share our knowledge and expertise, to network and collaborate on future projects, as well as to foster growth. This year's BDG theme boasts an inclusion of music, film, poetry, and athletics workshops, and is aimed at helping locals to explore innovative ideas and techniques, to master essential aspects of entrepreneurship, to discover the intricate details of networking whilst unlocking marketing and promotions essentials, harnessing the power of media, the role of the modern day creative, and gender equality, sustainability, and diversity. BDG 2023 focuses on the cultural creative industry through innovation. The CCI, cultural and creative industries, such as arts and crafts, entertainment, and media, have become a vital force in accelerating human development. As the pandemic surfaced on a global spectrum, it highlighted persons from all social classes, from the indigenous to the elite, as participants and consumers of the CCI economy. Take, for instance, the key industries in which I operate as an entrepreneur: music, film, sports, and entertainment, a vital force for the creative industries. It is without a doubt that the CCI is a strategic relevant sector. It enables opportunities such as boosting competitiveness, productivity, social growth, and ultimately is able to provide work opportunities. Why? Because it empowers persons to take ownership of their own development. Say it with me. The CCI empowers persons to take ownership of their own development. There goes that word, entrepreneurship. Being able to stimulate innovation is a potential drive to inclusive, sustainable growth. I'm sure many, if not all of us, have suffered some form of growth to our businesses, especially during and after the pandemic period. I stand here today to share with you as part of my growth as a multi-award winning independent filmmaker. My film career commenced in April 2020 at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. The CCI afforded me the flexibility to tap in and to learn new skills that ultimately benefited my entrepreneurial role within the arts and entertainment field. As an independent filmmaker, I've earned numerous accolades and honorable mentions within my 3+ years in the music industry as a multi-award winning filmmaker. A few of my productions range from Africa Day, the talented making of the Anthropology album, and the historical Battle of Adwa, just to name a few. Film productions also allowed me the ability to flex my muscles as a music producer, where I penned songs as a songwriter, and that led to the production of notable film soundtracks. In December 2021, I was voted by one of the top 10 magazines, Brain Magazine, as one of the top 500 thought leaders and entrepreneurs in the world. An accomplishment of that showcase lists unplanned events, highlighted by an objectable array of talented skills. The results of the pandemic left the CCI in shambles, with many searching for answers, hungry not only for work but also food and shelter. Homelessness, depression, anxiety, emotional, and financial stresses. We all went through a grim period where we hoped for a reduction in the efficacy of the newly developed COVID-19 vaccines and a period of newly developed variants. Countless conditions presented numerous contributing factors to various issues such as mental health and addiction. The work to fostering mental health and or addiction of one's well-being is a long road ahead for many individuals. It was an opportune time to be of great importance, to be a friend and reach out to ask about how persons are coping with the normal stresses of life, that state of well-being in which every person recognizes his or her own potential. As members of the CCI industries, we are often left with more questions than answers, especially during this difficult period. I can't speak for everyone else, but I know that for myself, I have become inundated with the list of daily occurrences. And I say daily occurrences because there was a time where I never thought to myself that some issues would become daily occurrences. Issues such as homelessness, child trafficking, wars and rumors of wars. From Congo to Somalia to Ethiopia, Ukraine to Russia, Gaza, and Palestine. Israel, Israel, Israel. And then there's the United States of America. My home away from home. Sweet, sweet Jamaica. And yes, I never thought I'd have seen or heard of my small island Jamaica with its own lists of daily occurrences. Most recently, there were numerous bomb threats made to various schools and the few businesses in Jamaica. And then there's the issue of island-wide crime. However, there's a sensitive, consistent narrative that has plagued our CCI industries, regardless if it's at home, land, plane, ship, or sea. Anyone wants to guess? Well, I'll say it. The daily mentions of sexual assault, child rape, molestation, missing children, for emphasis, missing black children, Pizzagate, gatekeepers, you get the gist. You see, if you share my field of expertise of works within the numerous industries, music, film, poetry, athletics, arts, and entertainment, then you know that all those subjects are not far-fetched. Just for a minute, think of all the stories that have made your news channels and that referenced sexual assault, child rape, molestation, missing black children. You're thinking? Think you've seen and heard enough? Well, now take a deep breath and think for every story that has made your news channels that there are thousands of unheard stories, stories you have never heard before. Do you know what would happen if your regular news channel actually take a walk in the hood? The poorer communities where money equates silence and power? Homes that includes young men and women whose alternative and are now part of our CCI community? A reminder, the CCI, the cultural and creative industries such as arts and crafts, entertainment, media have become a vital force in accelerating human development. Yes, and though on a global spectrum, it has highlighted persons from all social classes, notably the indigenous to the elite as participants and consumers of the CCI economy. So, how can a CCI individual work productively, fruitfully, and be able to make a contribution to their own community? Knowing the extreme measures that can be taken to silence the subject of sexual assault, rape, molestation, and the list goes on and on. As a leader and survivor, understanding that there are possibilities and impossibilities, being autonomous, to have a social identity, and to give meaning and purpose of our own lives is first and foremost. Yes, I too have been a victim. No longer a victim, but am a survivor. I'm now a leader teaching others how to lead by default. Unfortunately, many people are influenced by the negative stigma and preconceptions associated with the telling of our stories. Recently, I was asked, how have I made use of my presence and expertise while on social media or similar platforms? Well, I've used my voice to empower others to create positive change. I believe it is of great importance. My career fulfillment, choices, and flexibility have afforded me opportunities. There are lessons to be learned. As women, we have come far, but we are still a very long way to go. The focus point of equality for women needs to be highlighted because a greater percentage of women tend to tear each other down than to build together. So you ask, what has worked for me? Over the years, I've made it my mission to stay in my own lane and to distance myself from the aesthetically fake-driven environment. Of course, not always 100% aware, but takes a bit of work to understand the purpose of the person or persons you have placed in your space and in your world. My processes have allowed me to becoming more proactive of the things that matters and to separate myself from any and everything that may have caused me to feel pressured to look a certain way. And as I work to make my world a more wholesome and inclusive industry, time and patience have allowed me to embrace everyone, no matter their gender, size, age, or ethnicity. This, my friend, is growth. Sadly, not everyone is able to similarly accommodate the steps that welcome to staying afloat. There's a saying, you can't see the picture if you are in the frame. Working in various industries, I've selectively become the mother of mothers. Athletes and musicians, even listeners from my radio and podcast shows would reach out for support. So how do one provide social support when you yourself may be vying for added support? It becomes tricky. It is a tangible step towards progress and one that can most often involve a mix of emotions. So earlier this year, I decided to write a list of short stories of times I had to work to overcome the extraordinary. Relevant stories that I could share with each person. And so the road to Behind Closed Doors project began. I then summarized each chapter of the stories in the form of poetry, which was released earlier this year, and then went on to release an audiobook version, which was released in June of this year, and then a spoken word album released in September of this year. The Behind Closed Doors spoken word album was up for your Grammy consideration. Quite an accomplishment. That completes a trilogy, and yes, There are more behind closed doors work to come. Stay tuned.